Young Junk.
Welcome to the Michelle Mission, 2 Men, 1 Podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I'm joined as always by my partner.
Hey, holla at your boy. This is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble.
And tonight, here in the greatest month of the Michelle Mission, Octavia, April, where we spend a significant amount of time with black science fiction, tonight we have Len's choice, 2020's Gina Prince-Bythewood directed The Old Guard. But before we get to The Old Guard and perhaps some of the new guard in The Old Guard,
Yes.
how are you, Len?
I'm doing very well. How about you, Vincent?
I'm also doing well.
Shout out to each and every one of you out there in the chat as we stream from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
Vincent, I wanted to tell you something. I spent a great deal of time, well, not a great deal of time, but I visited about good 2 or 3 thrift stores this weekend.
Okay.
Right? Just on the search for, looking for some stuff for my outside, and I thought I might be able to find some stuff in
Sure.
And I like thrifting everyone's on weekends
absolutely.
sometimes. Didn't find anything that, for the outside that I was looking for.
Okay. But
But-
the journey is the thing.
The journey is the thing. But in our talk of physical media,
Okay.
I decided for the first time in my thrifting to really pay attention to the records collection
Oh, very nice.
in all of these places, right? So I went through the record collection in all 4. I went to 4 thrift stores this weekend.
Okay.
Didn't find anything, but I found an interesting fact.
Okay.
What black artist has pretty much their entire discography is in every single one of these thrift stores?
I'm going to say Lionel Richie.
No, it's not Lionel Richie. I did not happen across any Lionel Richie albums at all.
Okay, so it's not Lionel Richie. I honestly don't think it's Michael Jackson.
No.
Because I think people buy Michael Jackson.
They hold
keep
on to Michael Jackson. They hold on to Prince. They hold on to Stevie.
Right.
It's a black artist,
Okay.
but they may not necessarily be our black art. Like we may not cherish.
Sure. It's not Johnny Mathis.
It is Johnny.
Is it Johnny Mathis? I thought maybe Johnny Mathis.
I,
Yeah.
who have never owned
Sure.
a Johnny Mathis album,
Sure.
his entire discography is in every one
You
of
have,
these thrift
and you
stores.
know why?
Because nobody likes Johnny Mathis.
No. It's you and I have talked about this in our with our main hobby, which is comic books. You can tell who's dying.
Well, Johnny Mathis isn't dead.
No, the people who
the people who own Johnny Mathis.
right, people bought Johnny Mathis
Okay,
albums.
okay.
Those people died, and now their kids cleaned out the house and didn't keep Johnny Mathis
I want
albums.
this Johnny Mathis,
Yeah,
and they just
absolutely.
they are Johnny Mathis is in the wild.
Yeah,
You can find
it's true.
Johnny Mathis.
That is true.
I was like, yo,
That is true.
that is, and then I started trying to think, okay, Johnny Mathis was definitely a star. You know, he had his moment.
I think he just announced that he's just
did.
he's retiring.
He's finally retiring.
now. Yeah,
Finally retiring.
Yeah, because I was low key, quietly trying to catch him before he retired.
Really?
I mean, he's probably gives a good show.
Yeah, he probably gave
Still
a good
has
show 20 years ago.
Still has his voice. I mean, come on, man. Let's
Just
not.
because you can still talk don't mean you still have your voice.
No, I think he still has his voice.
I don't think so.
And it's not like he's gonna be Bobby Brown up there doing a whole lot of choreography.
Well, Bobby Brown don't do a whole lot of
That's my
choreography.
point exactly.
But I don't think Johnny Mathis still has.
Please
a voice.
continue. Please continue.
But it got me thinking. Like, he's a star who had his time, and his time was definitively probably late 50s, early 60s.
Absolutely.
That's probably the heyday.
You had that little spark during the 80s with Denise Williams. What will we do, baby, without us?
Yeah, but
What will we do, baby?
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. And that mostly is in everybody's earworm because of the TV show Family Ties.
But then they had an album together.
Did they? I only know that song.
No. Oh my goodness! It just
I only know that song.
They actually had a hit.
It was that song.
No.
What other song did Denise Williams had with Johnny Mathis?
Williams and Don. First of all, I think they had a whole album, and then their song was
because
too much, too little, too late to ever fly again.
Oh yeah.
Too much, too little, too late run again.
Denise Williams.
Too much, too little, too late. That song was quietly a bop.
It was all over the place.
Yeah, that was quietly a good song.
That was a hit.
All
that
right.
was it. But you just named two more hits
certainly
than I could come up with.
Right, certainly his heyday was
like his big hit is
That's What Friends Are For. That's what friends are for.
Yeah, nobody knows that song.
Look, it was a hit.
Yeah, but that's not the Friends.
I'm just
That's
saying.
not the Friends Are For song that everybody thinks
just
of. They think of
saying.
Dionne Warwick.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
But please, yes, his heyday certainly was.
I was trying to think of like solo Johnny Mathis.
Right,
and I could only come up with and
chances are.
And then what's the other one? I feel like there's another one. I was humming.
Misty.
I get
Look at me.
Yes. And that's it, right?
And then the Christmas album.
What Christmas song did he
Come
do?
on, dog. Johnny Mathis. Wow, why are we having such a long Johnny Mathis?
I didn't expect it to go this long.
Johnny Mathis low-key had like 3 or 4 Christmas albums.
That doesn't mean they were hits.
No, I think they were.
I don't hear them on Christmas.
Well,
what Johnny Mathis song do they play at Christmas?
Let it snow, let it snow.
That's not the Let It Snow that they play.
No, they play Johnny Mathis.
No, they don't. They play Dean Martin's.
Okay, when I'm around black people,
they don't play.
Ain't nobody playing Dean Martin.
They don't play Johnny Mathis. They either play Dean Martin's or they cut straight to Brian McKnight and Boyz II Men. They don't play Johnny Mathis.
What is your Johnny Mathis point? Let's go ahead and.
Well, that was the point. I was trying to figure out what his hits were.
Let's land Johnny Mathis.
I was trying to ask you what his hits were. Yeah. And you just gave me 2 more that I didn't know.
Right.
And they don't count because they were with Denise Williams.
Okay, well. I think the check counts.
Fair enough. Well, I'll give them the Family Ties theme song.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your indulgence. Anyway, let's hear from you.
Yeah.
Missionaries, which means your emails, or as we like to call them,
Mitch. I'm sitting over here thinking about Misty. Missives from the missionaries.
So what else is going
Missives
on?
from the missionaries.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Mrs. from the Missionaries, Vincent. We got an email from Corey Nicole.
Hey, what's up, Corey?
Greetings to Len, Vincent, and the Missionaries. It's April, so that means Afrofuturism Month for the Michaud Men in honor of Octavia Butler.
Yes, indeed.
I want to make a quick note that Christopher Williams and Al B. Shore could have had a versus battle. You know, the light skins and pretty boy challenge. Is an old review, but I just listened to your New Jack City episode. Christopher Williams, Al B. Shore versus. Who's winning?
That's tough because Al B. Shore has more hits than Christopher Williams, but Christopher Williams can actually sing.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah.
I think you probably land on Al B. Shore.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
You know, originally the producer Spider-Man offered Poison to Al B. Shore, and Al B. Shore turned it down.
I did hear that.
And then BBD took it, and the rest is
ran
history.
away with
it.
Corey continues, I devised a movie for you and I, to be in.
Okay.
This is for fun purposes only. Let's say the movie takes place in the year 3040.
Okay.
And you guys are on a planet named Cestus. Your names are VJ102 and LJ103, and you guys have weapons. It's in the form of lightsabers.
Okay. All right.
The mission is to save your planet from an evil king who steals pretzel bites, since that's what keeps planet Cestus running.
Okay. All right.
Your people, black people, are dying.
I like how she put the note in there, black people.
She puts it right there. After beating all the conquests and missions like lava lakes, a rainforest, and sharks,
Yeah.
you defeat the evil king using lightsabers and a new chip called 309I that depletes the evil king. Planet Cestus is saved, and you all celebrate from a performance by a reincarnated Prince, Freddie Jackson, Michael Jackson, and Nice and Smooth.
That's a real hodgepodge right there. That's a hodgepodge right there.
That's a jam session you don't see every day.
Right.
This movie may sound like something in Mother May I, but no, it's supposed to be silly and fun. I hope this email finds you well. Love always, from a missionary. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you for that.
That was funny. We got another email, Vincent. This is from Michael Lockett.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Good evening, my brothers and fellow missionaries. This was a tough week of filmage for me. Both movies, last week's Enemy Mine and Where I Fell in the Timeline, Who's the Man, both built me up to let me down. Obviously, with Hollywood's complicity in white delusion, the Oscar winner Louis Fiddler Gossett Jr. had to play second fiddle to Dennis Quaid in Enemy Mine.
Yeah.
The potential in the story to address othering was there, but again, it's Hollywood. How much better could this have been if the two actors had switched roles and Quaid played a makeup-less alien with his real epidermis? Puts a bigger twist on everything when the aliens are white people, as the pattern is colonize, destroy, and find a new place. It's a good thing this was out in the golden age of sci-fi, or it would have been hated, not just relegated to the back of the bin. In the timeline, I landed with you two in the aforementioned Who's the Man?
Yeah.
As a hip-hop head, I was so hyped to see this movie when it was coming out in the 90s. This movie was so lackluster, however, that the vast majority of people forget it even exists. For any newish missionaries, if Len and Vincent are talking about anything but the movie, you know, 1, they ain't feeling the flick, and 2, they are recommending something else.
It's true.
In this, it was classic hip-hop videos from the 80s. As that was the case, we got a heaping helping of filler talk about old TV shows and films. That is what happens when we don't like to
Look, it's the cheat code.
I loved it. I watched a lot of old TV with my mom. She turned me on to the Dick Van Dyke Show, My Three Sons, Leave It to Beaver, and the Andy Griffith Show. My mom also loved the shoot-'em-ups, Westerns. I was not down with Bonanza, Gunsmoke, or Daniel Boone. However, they were how I found my all-time TV Western favorite,
Maverick.
No, Wild Wild West. This show was where it first struck me that you could build a show around the guest actors, which led me to The Twilight Zone.
Sure.
If you two are familiar with Wild Wild West, who would you say was the actor who did memorable work on both Wild Wild West and The Twilight Zone? Not to sway the jury, but I usually end up on Burgess Meredith. But there are plenty who got a check and checks from each. All the best, Michael Lockett. I was going to land on Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, I was going to land on
Safe
Burgess
bet.
Meredith. But quite honestly, I don't have a lot of Wild Wild West knowledge.
Really? Were you
Like,
a fan?
Oh, yeah, I liked it. I liked it, but like I said when I guessed just now, Maverick was my all-time favorite Western television.
Oh, really?
show.
I think I maybe seen 2 episodes of.
Come on, man. We've talked about this. James, between Maverick and the Rockford Five.
Well, James
Garner is one of my favorite white men of all time.
Well, hey, I am a James Garner fan.
Which, back to Louis Gossett Jr., I'm pretty sure that's James Garner and Louis Gossett Jr. in The Skin Game.
I think so. Actually, I'm going to.
Which I cannot believe I've never chosen The Skin Game. Like, as we're talking about it. Is that James Garner with Louis Gossett Jr.?
That is James Garner, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually came close to choosing this not too long ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. I was a huge Wild Wild West fan, but I don't remember a lot of the games, the guest stars. I remember Burgess Meredith.
Of course.
I think Michael Sarrazin was in there. And I don't remember, and also trying to put them against the Twilight Zone, which was earlier than Wild Wild West. So I don't know. And I don't know if Jack Klugman, he probably wasn't on Wild Wild West because he's the other like really good name that stands out for me from the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
So that's a good question though. But thank you for the email, Michael.
Vic,
Tayback?
no, is that Mel?
Yeah.
From, is he only on that one episode of The Twilight Zone? Because I like when he showed up on stuff.
He was only on that one
Just
episode.
that
of
one
Twilight
episode
Zone.
with talking Tina. That's the only one he's on.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, I don't think that's is that Vic? No, that's not. That's Telly Savalas.
That's not Telly Savalas.
I don't think it's Vic Tayback though. I don't think it's Vic Tayback.
I didn't know Telly Savalas was on The Twilight Zone.
I think that's Telly Savalas. It's the Talking Tina.
Yeah, right. Talking Tina. You better be nice to me. Oh my goodness, that scared me so much when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm looking that episode up right now. Yeah, it's Telly Savalas.
Is that Telly
Telly
Savalas?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I'm not gonna say you blew my mind, but you made me. Huh. All right.
Yeah, I can see why. I can see why you think it's Vince Tayback because it's Telly Savalas with hair. Even
It's
though
Telly Savalas with hair.
he's bald
and
on top.
Again, I was so focused on that doll talking.
Well, that doll was
Yeah.
creepy as hell.
Yeah. All right.
Donald looked like a lot like Dylan. We have
And you better be nice to him. And you better be nice to him. Talking Tina turned her head and looked at him. She said, "My name is Talking Tina.
and I don't like you.
And you better be nice to me." I said, "Lord, have mercy." Yeah. All right, go ahead.
All right, we got another email, and this is from Azor,
Hey, Azor.
or also known as Blue Girl
Hey, Blue Girl.
718.
Yeah.
Hi, Len and Vincent. I just finished listening to the review for Enemy Mine. I remember watching this film quite a bit as a kid with my friends, though I admit we watched it more as a comedy than a sci-fi. I can still quote parts of it, which I did when rewatching it recently, much to my boyfriend's chagrin. Your review was great, but I can't believe you didn't give a shout out to Bumper Robinson
Yeah.
as the child age version of Kermie, aka Zamus.
Yeah.
It was years before I realized that it was him in the role. He's definitely one of my favorite black child actors from back in the day. It's nice to see him still around and working today, whether he pops up in a TV role or voice acting, which is probably what he's more popularly known for.
Right.
Quintessential working black actor. Great job as always, Azor.
Thank you, Azor, and thank you for adding Bumper Robinson to the conversation.
Most definitely. And if for those who don't know, he's more popularly known as the voice of Bumblebee on in Transformers animated, Falcon and Avengers Assemble. He's done work on for DC. He's in Futurama. I mean,
Yeah, but he's actually done live acting too.
he's done live acting.
Yeah.
He was, but not a whole lot as far as in
Like, was he
film.
on a television show?
He was in let's see, because I was looking at his filmography now.
I feel like we saw him every week on something, on like the CW or maybe even Fox.
Let's go down and check him out. See where he was a regular. He was in 21 episodes of The Game. He was
And even that was later, I thought.
I know. I'm looking at things where he's did multiple episodes.
Right.
He did 8 episodes of Living Single.
Okay.
He did 23 episodes of A Different World, where he was Dorian Haywood.
That's where I know him.
Okay.
That's where I really know him. He was Dorian.
That must have been like the later.
It's the last season because he was dating Jada Pinkett's character, Lena.
Okay. See, I have very little memory of that.
Yeah, he's actually on the famous episode with Tupac. Him and Tupac get into a little tussle over Lena.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And he wins because of the show?
I don't know if he wins or not, but they go back to Baltimore. Lena's friends from Baltimore come to visit her in college. And it's Tupac plays Piccolo. And our girl, Monica Calhoun, plays her girlfriend from back home.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. So,
Yeah.
thank you for your email, Azor. And yes, we need to shout out Bumper Job.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. All right. That is your emails. If you want to have your thoughts heard here on the Micheaux Mission, please send them in. You can email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. And before we move on with the show, I want to invite you, if you are in the Philadelphia area or coming to Philadelphia sometime in the month of May, why don't you come on Thursday, May 8th, so you can join Vincent and myself and our good friend Stephanie Watts of the Be Real Black Cinema Club as we return to Bryn Mawr Film Institute for the Be Real Micheaux screening series and our screening of Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Yeah.
Thursday, May 8th, 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale right now at brynmarfilm.org. And Bryn Mawr is BRYNMAWR film.org. All right.
All right.
Now, Vincent, before we move on with the show,
Okay.
interesting thought came to my mind.
Okay.
Because we're going to be reviewing tonight The Old Guard.
Yes, we are.
Great movie. Well, just letting you know, I think it's safe to say we like this film.
Yes.
Great film.
A well-acted, well-directed, well-written film
Yes.
is going to get a good review from us.
Yes, indeed.
We will not be straying far from the film in our review.
No, we will not. No, we will not. We will put our retrospective of the Jeffersons on the shelf and stay on the film.
Right.
Most definitely. But it got me thinking about as much of a hit as this movie was when it came out on Netflix in 2020. And I think part of that hit was because it came out like right around when people were on lockdown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I would hasten to bet that most people do not realize that this film is adapted from a comic book.
Yes. The screenwriter actually wrote the comic book, Greg Rucka.
Right. Greg Rucka, one of the great.
I was about to say the great Greg Rucka.
Yes. Huge fan of
Yeah,
Greg Rucka as a
absolutely.
comic book writer and now as a movie writer. And it got me thinking about how many, people, when they think about comic book
Sure.
movies, they needed to go to DC or Marvel.
Absolutely.
Maybe something that's got superhero. Some of the children's films, they
Right,
think
right,
kind of
right.
like maybe started at the comic book and stuff. But there have been so many
Absolutely.
other, low-key comic book adapted movies. And I just wanted to run through a quick 10 of them.
Okay.
10 of them. Not in any countdown. This is really just
Right,
in
just jotting them down.
yes, and then my notes just have them in alphabetical order.
Okay.
That's all.
What we got?
All right. So starting with from 2013, Two Guns,
Yeah.
the film that starred Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg as like basically this big buddy cop film, which actually I've seen, and I was. It's not a great movie. But it may be one of my favorite Mark Wahlberg movies because he gets along. Him and Denzel got great chemistry in this movie.
I have not seen it.
You haven't seen it? I honestly think you would like this.
Okay, I mean, look, everything you just said about it.
It's because it's another movie of that very short list of movies where you can see Denzel Washington just having a great time. Just having fun, playing a little bit against type. You know, he's got an afro in this joint. He's walking around in Hawaiian shirts, but he's a gun-toting dude.
Yeah.
It's really a cool film. I really think you would like that film. And adapted, like I said, adapted from a comic book by Stephen Grant and Mateus Santaluco that was published in 2007 by Boom Studios. Are you familiar with the comic book?
I am familiar. I like Stephen Grant.
Yeah.
I like Stephen Grant. So
another one.
Okay.
Moving along from 2007. This was adapted from a a comic book by Stephen Niles from IDW Publishing. 30 Days of Night.
30 Days of Night.
Which is a horror film that focuses on an Alaskan town beset by vampires as it enters into the 30-day-long polar night, which is a great idea for a vampire movie.
It is I was very frustrated because I didn't think the movie was that good.
The movie is not that good.
Right.
I saw the movie before I read the comic book.
Oh, so you weren't disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed.
But then you read the comic.
I read the comic. I was
like,
ooh.
Yeah.
This is. And now, I read the comic, enjoyed the comic, immediately gave the comic book away because I don't like horror comics.
Right.
And this movie, and this comic book is like.
Yeah. Oh, it's straight horror.
Yeah, it got me a little bit.
And they milked it way too long. It was like 9 spin-offs and
of the comic book.
Oh,
yeah.
But that first 30 Days of Night is absolutely fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And the movie, you're right, it's not a great movie, but I think it's a dumb Saturday movie.
Yeah.
Saturday, like, throw some popcorn.
Look, man, you know my vampire movie thing. Like, you got to come hard with a vampire movie because there's so many great vampire movies.
We got another one coming out next month. Oh no, later this month. Sinners.
Yeah.
With Jordan, Michael P. Jordan.
Yeah.
All right. We also have from 2004, and this is a movie that I'm pretty sure people don't know was adapted from a comic book, inspired by a comic, maybe more precise. AVP, or better known as Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
Which is based on a 1989 comic book by Randy Stradley and Chris Warner. A lot of people probably figured this just came up because of mashing up the two movie properties. But no, it first happened in the comic books.
We're going to be talking about that a lot in a few weeks when we do Predator 2.
We will.
Because all of that comes from Predator 2.
Yep.
But yeah.
Next, we have from 2020. This is the film, to hear Netflix tell it, the number one or one of their top grossing or biggest hits ever, Extraction from 2020 that stars Chris Hemsworth. This was also adopted from a graphic novel called Sayadad by Andy Parks. The graphic novel came out in 2014 and was quickly adapted by the Russo brothers because they said this will make a great movie, and thus it became a great movie. Netflix says that over 99 million viewers watched this film within the first 4 weeks.
I'm actually not familiar with this.
Are you not familiar with it?
I don't know. Is it good?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
You talking about the movie or the graphic novel?
I've never read the graphic novel.
Right.
I didn't know. It was
right, because I've done neither one.
The movie it's kind of fun.
Okay.
It's almost got like a bit of a video game vibe to it, even though it's happening in quote unquote real world. As he's like this he's not like an agent, but he's like a soldier of fortune, I guess, type of guy. But it's fun. It's one of Chris Hemsworth's best properties, I'll say. Here from 2001. This is definitely another horror film that I know you're will appreciate, based on the graphic novel of the same name by Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell about the Jack the Ripper murders.
Yep.
We have Johnny Depp and Heather Graham in the Hughes brothers From Hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that was based on the comic book.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of the film?
I think the film did as well as you could have. Like, I actually think you can't really adapt it.
The book.
Like,
The book is like
it's a brick of a book.
It's a brick, man.
It's a brick of a book.
And I didn't think it was that good.
You didn't like the art.
No.
Like, I already know what your
didn't like
deal
it.
was with From Hell. Like, you don't. That's Eddie Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big.
Eddie Campbell is not your jam.
Yeah.
But I've thought about it for the show because it is the Hughes brothers. Oh yeah. See. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Next, we have from 2024 a drama produced and directed by Robert Zemeckis, based on a 2014 graphic novel by Richard McGuire called Here.
I'm not familiar with this.
I am familiar with this only because I heard an interview with Robert Zemeckis when he was on the road promoting this film. The film is told in a non-linear fashion. It covers the events of a single plot of land and its inhabitants, spanning from the distant past into the 21st century.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for this. I didn't know that was a graphic novel.
Starred Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Paul Bettany, and Kelly Riley.
Oh, okay, good cast.
A good cast.
Good
It was a bit of a flop and
Yeah.
had negative reviews, but based on a graphic novel.
Okay.
We also have from 2005, we have David Cronenberg adapting the 1997 graphic novel by John Wagner and Vince Locke that starred Viggo Mortensen, Maria Bello, Ed Harris, and William Hurt.
Something of violence.
A history of
violence. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a good
history
movie.
of violence. So
That's a good.
it's a good graphic
movie.
novel too.
A diner owner becomes a local hero after he foils an attempted robbery, but has to face his past enemies to protect his family.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That is fun, man. That is fun. That's a sexy film too. Next, we have another recent film from 2023 that stars Michael Fassbender as an assassin who embarks on an international vendetta after a hit goes wrong in David Fincher's The Killer,
Yeah.
based on the French
I'm about to say that's
graphic
French.
novel The Killer, written by Alexis Nolan and illustrated by Luc Jacquemont.
Yeah. It's a great graphic novel.
You have this graphic.
Oh yeah. It's
I
a
was not
great
aware of
graphic.
this.
But you like Black Sad.
I love Black Sad.
If you like Black Sad, you'll love this. Like you should.
Really?
get
Is The Killer a cat in the
The Killer is not a cat.
Is it a dog?
No, but
Is it
it's
a giraffe?
but it's cool. It's got that French cool to it.
Okay.
Like it's real cool.
Then what about the art?
It's not that sort of.
It's not Black Sad.
It's not that neo-realism of Black Sad, but you'd like the art.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to look it up. Next, we have probably easily one of my 3 favorite comic book adaptations of all.
Okay.
Of all of them.
Howard the Duck.
No.
Okay.
2002's Sam Mendes' Road to Perdition.
Yeah.
Starring
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, Paul Newman, Jude Law, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Stanley Tucci, and Daniel Craig. Set in 1931 during the Great Depression, follows a mob enforcer and his son as they seek vengeance against the mobster who murdered the rest of their family.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
It's a great movie.
It's probably
Great movie.
it may be my favorite Tom Hanks movie.
I think that's a good choice.
I absolutely and it is one of the rare movies, and we'll talk about this later on, that I think is better than the the source
I
material.
absolutely think it's better than the source material.
Absolutely.
I think the graphic novel is very underwhelming, much like you with 30 Days of Night. I read the graphic novel after seeing the movie, thinking that I was going to have a 30 Days of Night experience, and I did not.
No, it's not. Yeah. The graphic novel written by Max Allen Collins and art by Richard Rainier. Yeah. That does not. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. And last,
Okay.
we have from 2009, crime thriller, another Greg Rucka comic book, directed by Dominic Sena and starring Kate Beckinsale. Whiteout.
Yeah, the graphic novel is better than the movie.
The graphic novel is 10,000 times better than the movie.
Whiteout is what put Greg Rucka on my radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was what it is, but I got it.
Yeah.
I think there's a sequel to it. I think I have that too.
There's been at least one sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Whiteout.
But yeah, Whiteout. And tell them about Whiteout. Like, you're talking about a concept.
Oh my God. The film's set in Antarctica where U.S. Deputy Marshal Carrie Stetko
That's right.
is planning to leave in a few days, but after finding a dead body, she is attacked by a mass killer who is trying to get a hold of the cargo in an old Soviet plane that crash landed in the ice during the Cold War.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about espionage, you want to talk about action, you want to talk about like really using the
locale.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
To like it's easy to say set a thriller where it's someplace dark.
Right.
But where it is literally white all over and it still be so creepy and mysterious, and that's in the comic book?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Whiteout is fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Love Whiteout.
Yeah.
A shame the movie is not good. I've seen the movie. It's
okay.
not. It's just okay.
Yeah.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, there you go.
All right.
I bet you probably half of them you didn't even know were comic books.
Yes.
So now you finished.
Now you know.
Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
The other half is red and blue lasers.
All right. Now it's time for the Game of Kings.
Yes.
Or as we call it, 6 Degrees of Derville Martin. Six Degrees of Derville Martin, where I give Vincent 2 actors and he has 6 films or less to connect them to Derville Martin. That man who could have starred in any comic book adaptation. He literally is a comic book adaptation all unto himself.
He is.
Vincent.
Yes.
Keeping this in theme.
Okay.
We are going to be reviewing The Old Guard tonight.
We are.
Which stars that probably most famous South African actors, Charlize Theron.
I think that's fair. I can't think of a South African more. Yeah, yeah.
Neither could I. Yet I have come up with 2 other ones
Oh, Lord.
to see whether or not you can connect them to Derville Martin. One of them, I think you can do it. You'll probably have to see his face.
What's our movie? What's our movie with Whoopi Goldberg?
Oh, the one that we...
What is it? I just forget the name of it.
It's the one where it's all the... Oh, what is the movie? It's not Noises Off. It's I always want to say Noises Off. It's not Noises Off. It's what's the movie with New Missionaries? What's the movie with Whoopi Goldberg where it's set in like a...
It's in South Africa.
Oh, no, you're thinking of Serafina.
Are either of them in Serafina?
No.
Okay. Buckle up, folks. Who's the first one?
I was actually thinking of the Whoopi Goldberg movie that is set in the world of like TV or something, and I was thinking you might be a whole bunch of actors that you could connect to that.
No.
And neither one of them.
No, you said South Africa, so I went to Serafina, and then you just said they're not in Serafina. So
They're not in Serafina.
All right, oh boy.
No,
What we got?
They're not in. What was the Stephen Biko movie?
Stephen Biko.
Yes, not in that either.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
What we got?
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
We might be here till 9.
Yeah, what we got?
In 6 films or less,
Uh-huh.
connected Derville Martin to, look at this man's filmography, to Arnold Vosloo.
Who's that?
See,
I have no idea who that is.
you're saying that.
Yes, because I don't know who he is. Let me see his face.
All right, I'm gonna get a good picture of
Yeah.
the picture that will tell you who he is.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. That's the mummy. That's the mummy guy. Okay. All right.
See,
All right.
he's the layup.
All right.
Admittedly, he's the layup.
All right. The mummy guy. So, let's see. Oh, okay. Here you go. Here you go. Derville Martin is, of course, in 5 on the black hand side with Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is in He Got Game with Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson, speaking of stuff, and I forget what's his name, but he's on the Righteous Gemstones this year because Rosario Dawson is in The Rundown with The Rock, and then not The Rock isn't on The Righteous.
I don't think so.
What's the little white boy who I thought should have been a bigger star in The Rundown?
Oh, Sean Patrick
Sean, yeah.
Thomas, I think.
Yeah, he's in The Righteous Gemstones this year. But The Rock is also in The Rundown. And The Rock is in The Mummy 2 with this guy.
Also known as The Mummy Returns.
I'm sorry, The Mummy Returns. The Mummying. The Mummy 2, The Mummying. Mummyery.
The Mummier. Yes. What I was,
Mummy 2, Electric Mummaloo.
what I was not aware of.
Mum Hard.
Mum Harder.
Mum Harder. Right?
I was not aware that Arnold Vosloo took over the role of Darkman from Liam Neeson for the direct-to-video sequels Darkman 2 and Darkman 3.
There's nothing about that sentence that seemed interesting to me.
It was interesting to me.
Right.
Maybe, obviously, it was just me.
Right. So he's in The Mummy Returns.
He is in The Mummy.
I did not know he was South African until this. I mean, I didn't know anything about him. Like, you could have told me anything. I didn't know he was lactose intolerant. Who's the other South African?
Well, if you didn't know anything about him,
Right.
and he was the layup.
Oh, my goodness. Right.
Boy. Vincent, in 6 films or less, connect Derville Martin to
2.
that other South African superstar,
Sure.
Sharto Copley.
Yeah. Let's skip right to let me see his face. Really?
He has a filmography.
Pretty sure that's my plumber.
He has a filmography. He's been
Yeah, what's he in that I know? What's he in that I know? Come on.
all right.
Let's get to the old guard.
What was he in that you've possibly seen? He was in Maleficent.
I didn't see Maleficent.
Okay. He was also in the movie that made him a star. Was District 9.
Yeah, there's nobody in District 9 now except other South African actors who are less well known than this guy.
Oh, well, he was the most. He's also in Elysium.
It's like a million people in Elysium. I can't think of any of them.
Okay. All right. He is also in
What's he in?
the film adaptation of The A-Team.
Who's he in the A-Team?
He is Howling Matt Murdock.
Is he?
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and get that out the way then. Look, same thing. Five on the Black Hand side, Dick Anthony Williams, and Dick Anthony Williams is running around in Mo Better Blues with Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson is in Avengers Endgame with Bradley Cooper, and then Bradley Cooper is in the A-Team with this guy.
Jesus, I'm surprised you even know that. I didn't remember anything about that movie until I looked this up.
Low key enjoyed it. I have no defense for enjoying it.
Sometimes you just
it was just a big deal. I mean, the A-Team is just a stupid not stupid, but like a silly concept.
Mm-hmm.
But like the A-Team is sort of like the $6 Million Man was. Like the opening credits were so good. But then the actual show never rose to the heights of the credits.
Yeah.
Like the A-Team credits may be my favorite 80s credit. Like that and like Knight Rider.
I'm about to say, it's like not better than Knight Rider.
Knight Rider, because Knight Rider, they say he was on the other side of the underworld and this, and then the show will come on and just be stupid. Dumbass David Hasselhoff in the car cracking jokes.
I know. It's such a letdown.
Like, we're driving through the desert and it's dark, and then on the other side of the underworld is a man with no past. And it's like, oh my goodness, Knight Rider is about to, and then it's like David Hasselhoff.
The second you say is David Hasselhoff,
right? It's
like, what?
Right.
What?
Right.
No. Yeah. The A-Team's credits were good. They weren't better than Knight Rider.
A-Team had great credits, though.
They weren't better than, well, the show was good, too. I was going to say Miami Vice.
I think the credits were, Miami Vice had good credits.
No, but I'm saying.
But the credits, like if you had to pick, if a show was as good as the credits, like the A-Team, and they were mercenaries, and if you could find them.
The show could not be as good as those credits.
Right.
Whereas Miami Vice, I think the show was as good as the credits.
True.
So it went against the argument that you were making.
Yeah.
So that's what I
All right. But there you go.
There you go.
See,
and you did it.
I do. Yeah, sure. God bless him.
All right.
I feel bad for that dude that plays the mummy, though. Like, he don't get to do nothing else but be the mummy. He just a mummy guy.
That's just for you. The man he's been working.
I didn't say he wasn't working, but like when people see him on the street, do they not say?
Well, he actually, from what
like clearly that's the mummy man.
From what I'm saying, he shaved his head for that. So things with
so he can grow hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, good for him.
Because actually his picture on Wikipedia, which is the mummy is, let me just see what year the mummy is 2001. 1999, 2001. In 2009, this is his picture on Wikipedia. You wouldn't have recognized him from that,
goodness.
Right? That's with hair.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That was a good choice, shaving his head for the mummy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Kool Mo D said he only took pictures with them glasses on so that like he could take the glasses off and just sort of walk around. Didn't you immediately think of Kool Mo D? I mean, I did. Didn't you immediately think of Kool Mo D?
No.
When you think about these things?
No.
You don't oftentimes go, wow, this is just like Kool Mo D.
No.
When he had on them glasses and he said he takes them off and then he can walk around.
But in your defense, who would have thought we'd have started this show with 15 minutes on Johnny Mathis? So.
Can't eat before this show. You got to stay on your toes.
Are you sure they like the old guard? I mean, they're still talking about Johnny Mathis.
I know.
They just actually did a Johnny Mathis callback. Are you sure that they like the old guard? Yes, we do like the old guard, and we're getting to that review right now.
I never. Do you cue me for this?
No,
or
he
just
doesn't.
Okay, all right.
He does. You just sit there in your pause. We are ready.
The Old Guard, a 2020 American film directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood, written by Greg Rucka, and based on his comic book of the same name, is a film about a group of mercenaries, all centuries-old immortals with the ability to heal themselves, and they discover someone is onto their secret, and they must fight to protect their freedom. Starring Charlize Theron, KiKi Layne, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and once again, directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood. This was the choice of Len Webb as we continue through Octavia April. Len!
Yes.
Let's talk about the Old Guard.
Let's talk about the Old Guard.
Yes, sir.
Hey, not going to mess around. This is absolutely a great film. And the reason why this is a great film is because it's a movie that you jump right in. You just jump in the beginning. There's dead bodies on the floor. There's bullets dropping, and you're like, "What's happening?" Then you flash back a little bit, and you work your way back up to that point with the voiceover of Charlize Theron, just welcoming you into this world, of these seemingly like mercenaries. They're on this mission to rescue these kidnapped little Sudanese girls who look like, oh my God, yes, please, white people, go rescue the little black children. Like I am all for it. And they walk into an ambush. They are blitzkrieg. They are murked hard. And that's when the movie starts.
Yep.
That's when the fun begins. And that is within the first 10, 15 minutes of this film. It introduces you into this mercenary crew of immortals. The movie does not hold your hand. You catch up as you see what is going on. Chiwetel Ejiofor, who is a trusted face in pretty much every movie that he has been in, and he borrows on that trust that you, the audience, have grown to expect from him. He's a devious mother in this movie. Charlize Theron is queen badass in this movie, as you would expect. But the reason why this movie was chosen, not only because it is based on a comic book, not only because it talks about these immortals that are still walking the earth and have been walking the earth for centuries, but the reason why this is on our review in the world of Afrofuturism is because at this moment in the film, a new immortal is born in the guise of KiKi Layne as Freeman, Marine Officer Freeman.
Niall Freeman.
A
pretty black name.
Very, very, very pretty. And KiKi Layne, if you're not familiar with her at this moment, she had been in If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yep.
And Native Son. Those were her two big coming out projects before jumping into The Old Guard. And The Old Guard it's a comic book action movie. This is balls to the wall, action, shoot 'em up, fighting. You've got to get in. And if you only know KiKi Layne from If Beale Street and Native Son, you'll be like, she's going to be in The Old Guard?
Look,
I don't know about this. Let me tell you something. KiKi Layne is not to be effed with. KiKi Layne got in there. She gives Charlize Theron, who is Miss Badass Action at this moment in 2020, a run for her money. Everything she can handle in this film, like running side by side with her, fighting against her, fighting for her, just going at it. And that just makes this another movie where you just, oh my God, this is so much fun to see this black woman, decidedly black woman, handling business. And she is also many times the smartest person in the room. That's what I also appreciate, because while she is a military officer, she is a military officer. She leads a crew. She does not take any shorts. She don't take any shit. She is no joke. And that's not to be unexpected, because this film is directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood. And Gina Prince-Bythewood has proven herself to be an incredible director. But with this, she really just shows that, there is not a genre that I can't handle. Mm-hmm. There is not one genre that I can't handle. I don't care what y'all say. I can handle some action. I gotta move the camera. I gotta show a car chase. I've got to show hand-to-hand combat. I got to show shoot 'em up. I'm with you. I've got all your staging. And it's so well shot that you don't miss anything. It's well choreographed, and you see all the choreography. It doesn't feel like it's a whole bunch of like just quick jumping camera all over the place and a whole lot of quick cuts. No, you're feeling it. You're feeling the punches. It's very visceral. All of the action that is in here, and it is just fun. The story, it's like, they're immortals, and there is some big, Elon Musk looking type of dude who wants to, steal their DNA to use it in basically, in lieu of testing pharmaceuticals on rats.
Right. He wants pharma.
Yeah.
Big pharma.
Just use these immortals. They can't die. So we'll use them to test all of the drugs and things that they want to get going on. It's a story straight out of a comic book, right? You don't care. You see where it's going. The fun is just to go there. You already get a sense from the beginning, like, this group of immortals, they've been around for so long, as you see in archival footage that the movie shows you of them back in the Civil War and even before that, so you already get the sense of how long lived they are. The movie doesn't really hide, from my point of view, that there may be a traitor in their midst. They drop enough clues that you can kind of see it coming, but it still made sense.
Yes,
it absolutely made sense.
Yes.
And you actually kind of understood it.
Yeah,
you kind of like maybe rode on the side of the guy,
right?
So. That means that the script is intelligent. That means that the script is smart. It's not trying to dumb down to its audience in any way. But at the heart of it, this is just a real crazy, enjoyable, fun movie that still asks hard questions. First of all, the idea of being an immortal.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Having to watch your families that you develop over the centuries die, having your loved ones die. Do you dare find loved ones because you know that they're going to die? Right. You're going to outlive them. It's not something, this gift that you've been given, it's not something that you can pass on. So that has to be a hard pill to swallow. Then the idea of you're immortal, but you're not Superman. So you can still feel pain, and you can still kind of quote unquote die, because in this world, everything does die. It's just a matter of when does that time come? How many deaths are you allowed? And there is also this scene, which I have to admit has haunted me since the first time I saw this movie, when one of the immortals is caught.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And then caged in this iron casket that is that is then dropped into the ocean, so that this immortal is in this casket, dies, resurrects, still in the casket,
and then dies again.
and then dies repeatedly again for
500 years.
I could not imagine that. I swear to you, Vincent, there are still moments when I still see the scene of that immortal drowning, and then you see their face coming back alive and then dying again as the casket sinks.
Oh my goodness.
It's still every once in a while it will flash back. That was the test of me to watch this film, because like, man, I want to put myself through that scene again, and I'm glad I did, because I enjoy everything else around the film, and it plays a pivotal part in the role in the story. But just that idea, that they could still feel this pain, and I don't know. There's one other point I want to make about the old guard, but I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that until after letting you go. But if you haven't seen the old guard, and we can get into some loose spoilers if you choose, Vincent. I don't know where you want to go, but if you haven't seen it, I'm telling you, you should see this film. It's a film that rewards upon rewatching, because it is just really fun. It is just a real fun movie. I know a good friend of the show, Ariel Johnson, is a huge fan and can't wait to the sequel. That is coming out
in July.
Coming in July. But the old guard is all that.
Look, this is a film that is firing on all cylinders. It really is, top to bottom, left to right. As he mentioned, it is based on Greg Rucker's graphic novel. Greg Rucker also writes the screenplay. So it is so smart. It is so the world building is so complete. As you said, the way that this film dispenses information is a masterclass. And the way it brings you into this world. And again, the script crackles. This cast is good to amazing. We'll save the big three, but Harry Melling as this tech guy has this perfect sleaze to him,
don't he?
But also a level of intelligence, like he carries it great. The immortals, Nikki and Joe, who play men who have been in love with each other since the Crusades.
Oh my God.
Played, Luca Marinelli plays Nikki and Marwan Kenzari plays Joe. So good.
The scene where they kind of like speak what they mean to each other.
At one point some soldiers are being sort of alpha bro homophobic, and one of them says, "What is he, your boyfriend?" And Nikki launches, Joe launches into this amazing monologue about this love, which again, back to the script, you believe this is a man talking about someone that he has loved for a millennium. Like, I've loved him since the Crusades. And this, that, and the other. Book, played by Matthias Schoenaert, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce his name. Really good. As this sort of odd man out immortal, and has this kind of melancholy. But the three actors who are just carrying the weight of this thing are, Chiwetel Ejiofor, as you said, just blue chip. Just blue chip. I did chuckle. Like, anytime Chiwetel Ejiofor uses his British accent, he's a villain.
That's true. That is true.
Like British Chiwetel Ejiofor is always a bad guy.
That is very true.
But is he really a bad guy? Like you understand his motivations. You understand who he is. He's this amazing actor. KiKi Layne, as you mentioned, when you think about KiKi Layne, you know, I've adored her since If Beale Street Could Talk. But I've thought of her as this sort of actory actor.
Right.
Almost a stage actress. She brings a zeal to the action. She brings a real commitment and confidence. And then Charlize Theron, same thing. Great action star, but the amazing thing about having actors, not action stars in an action film, is that the quiet moments resonate just that much.
Yes.
Like you have these amazing quiet moments between Charlize Theron's Andy, who is older than she can remember. And Theron has the weight, like you feel the weight. And KiKi Layne's Niall, who's been thrown into this thing, but is a good person. And all that. And then at the helm of it is Gina Prince-Bythewood.
Yep.
And much like you, and I think much like many of us, when we heard that she was directing The Old Guard, it was like, oh, well, all right, how's that going to work out?
Right. The Love and Basketball.
But that's the thing. When you think about Love and Basketball, when you think about The Woman King, this is a director who directs movement. She knows how to direct a kinetic scene. And as you said, I love fight scenes that are also part of the narrative. Like this also is character building. And the great thing about Charlize Theron's Andy is that she fights like you would think someone who has been alive thousands of years can fight. Like at one point they lampshaded in the movie where one of the characters says she has forgotten more ways to kill people than armies will ever learn. And you see in the way the fight scenes are choreographed that she fights like this. As you said, Niall is not some sort of fawn in the forest. She's a United States Marine. So she is also good at fighting. And then the scenes where the unit fights together, they fight like a group
unit
of people who have been fighting together for hundreds of years.
Yes.
But all of this is storytelling. Like all of this is something that a director has to capture.
Yep.
And again, every aspect of the film works amazingly well. And as a sort of a sub-theme of this month, I thought about it, and it has this kind of 80s feel to it because so many of those great films from the 80s,
The action films.
the action, like the science fiction films, but it's a murderer's row of directors. Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg,
That's true.
Joe Dante,
James Cameron.
James Cameron. Like these dudes were directing these films. And then just the caliber of actor. Sigourney Weaver, Harrison Ford, you know, like we kind of joke about him, but Arnold Schwarzenegger actually is good in these kind of movies. You come from this almost tradition where, like we said, we were joking at the beginning, apparently the secret formula for making a great film is you have a great director, great actors, and a great script. And this film, it really is like this really is, as you said, it's fun. It's a fun film. It's a film that rewards rewatching. But I would dare say that this is also just a great film. The way we talk about some of these genre films are like, you know, Alien is a great film. You know, Terminator is a great film. I think this is a great film.
It is very much so. And I also think that for it to be this big action film, it's not some big like special effects thing. That's the other thing I love about it.
Look, Charlize Theron, KiKi Layne, the other members of the old guard, you can tell these actors train, because obviously it's stunt people involved,
Right.
But you can tell the difference between stunt people involved because the insurance companies are saying, hey, you can't do that, and this sort of Tom Cruise level of the actor has also committed to this.
Right. Yeah. So it's
like they are the special effects.
They are the special effects, and they really they show it. It is all on screen. The one thing I did want to point out in mad props to KiKi Layne.
Yeah.
But I want to spend a little moment on Charlize Theron, who definitely has developed into like this big action star.
Right. It's like it's this new. Well, speaking of Liam Neeson, it's like this Liam Neeson part of her career. Yeah.
Right. And deservedly so. But you pointed it out. She is a better actress than I think people give her credit to be.
Absolutely.
I think she is actually, more often than not, I enjoy just her straight acting, right? And I don't know if I sensed it the first time I saw this film, but definitely the second time I saw this film. Today, I started thinking about women who are now like action stars or have been considered like the action stars of the last 30 years, right? Which you definitely think Charlize Theron. For whatever reason, people think Angelina Jolie, and there's been a few, like one or two, Kate Beckinsale,
sure,
Mila Jovovich, who have definitely been in their lanes and had their franchises, did their things. But I looked at Charlize Theron.
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, Zoe Saldana.
Well, most definitely. She just hasn't been like the lead of a lot of them,
right,
except Colombiana. But I was thinking, but even Zoe, to that point, I think Charlize is the one who, above all of them, carries it as far as the physicality. Yeah. Because she's not a small woman. So when she is beating up men, it looks very believable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As opposed to like Angelina Jolie in Salt, which I was like, this is make believe.
Right.
This is absolutely make believe.
Well, she definitely has the stature.
She's got the stature.
The stature.
But then she also has the gravitas and the acting, so that even when she's fighting, she's still looking the role.
Again, it's the story. Like you can feel the fatigue off of her. Like there's this wonderful scene on a plane where she and KiKi Layne's character are fighting. And it is such a wonderful character building moment because you can see, once again, this character, Nile, who is new to this, but she is a trained soldier and she's very good at what she's doing. But she's fighting someone who's been alive for 3,000 or 4,000 years.
Yep.
And is
no matter how good you are, you're out of your league.
No matter how good you are, I'm actually letting you throw a tantrum.
Exactly.
I'm letting you throw a tantrum, and I'm going to let it go until the moment that I'm not.
And then I'm going to say, all right, this is over.
This is now over. But like you said, I can say it, but the storytelling of the movement does it. Yeah.
Yeah. It really made me appreciate it that much more. And it made me think, if I could turn back time, I would put Charlize Theron. I would put Charlize Theron, like, how many movies? Like, first of all, she would be my Wonder Woman.
Oh, well. You notice no one mentioned Gal Gadot.
That's the thing. Like, dude, she should be Wonder Woman. She should be Wonder Woman. I don't give a fuck. She should be Black Widow. She should be Tomb Raider. Like, I don't care. Name me. There is not one.
Right. She should have just been.
She should have just been in everything.
Look, man. Look.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the other thing that I really loved about this script, and this is something that I really loved about the graphic novel. Like, I love these stories. Like, I always talk, I call it like my Dracula plan. Like, I love these stories about immortals where they kind of deal with the logistics of it. I
do too.
Like I just called it my Dracula plan. Like, sometimes I have a thought experiment. Like, if I was turned into a vampire or I found out I was immortal, it's like, okay, but what do you do now? You know, and it's like, you know, the whole Dracula thing in the book where he was trying to figure out how to get a house in London, and he had like the coffin, like what are the logistics of, like, now you're going to live forever? Like, what are the logistics of it? Like, what do you do first?
So Dracula has a realtor taking him around to different castles? Like, what's that?
That's literally the plot of the book. Like, Harker is a real estate agent. And he goes,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's actually the plot of the book.
I forgot about that.
Right. Harker goes to meet this mysterious Eastern European count who wants to move to London. Yeah, he's a real estate agent. That's the plot of the book.
So you say you need dirt in the basement.
Right.
What is
right.
Well, that's good. That's going to cut our listing down, but
But again, you're immortal. So now what? Like, you got to figure out, like, I need a place to stay. I got to learn different, and they talk about it in here. Like, you know, they learn different languages, and they had these, like, you got to have somewhere to keep your stuff. You know, there's
a giant down the street.
Look,
it might be.
Look, there's a wonderful moment. And again, it's these little details that I love so much, where these people have been alive for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, you just kind of keep, you know, you kind of keep your head low and do your thing. But the thing about the modern age is that everyone is carrying around a camera in their pocket.
I know.
And everyone is taking pictures.
I love that scene.
So there's that moment where Andy is just caught in the background of a picture. And she, you know, very fluidly and smoothly gets the phone and erases it in a way that, you know, she's been dealing with this since the advent of the smartphone.
Right.
But again, that's part of her Dracula plan.
I love the detail of Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, who's kind of like piecing this history of the immortals together on like this big whiteboard. And in a scene that they do 10 zillion times better than Justice League, they show like how they've been in throughout history, and like the how they've been helping people.
Right.
You know, how they've been touching and making history. And that's what made me, watching that, was like, why wasn't she Wonder Woman? Because it's the plot of Wonder Woman.
It's the plot of Wonder Woman.
It's the plot of Wonder Woman right there. It's like, oh my God, man. Oh, it's such an amazing movie. But with all of that, I do have to ask you the question. I have my answer.
Okay.
Is this a black film?
Absolutely right. Absolutely. Gina Prince-Bythewood directed it.
Is that enough for you? Because that's not always enough.
No. That would be enough for me, full stop.
Okay.
This is especially relevant because we talked about this last week, and we've been talking about it the past couple of weeks. I love the fact that these immortals, these sort of otherworldly beings or figures. Well, Nick is I think of Arabic descent.
Yeah.
You get, but the rest of them are just old. You know, they're just white people, and are like we talked about with the Will Smith character. Our point of view character, our entry into this world, is a black person. So we are seeing this through her eyes. So therefore, she is the subject. I think that would make it a black movie.
Okay, fair.
You know, and then, you know, I just love Chiwetel Ejiofor. I actually could have watched the whole movie of him with the corkboard, putting the stuff
Sure, why not?
together, and you know, and now again, the Dracula plan makes sense. We need somebody to erase our digital footprint. And there's that so good. Like over the credits, like you said, they're showing all the shots of them throughout history, and then the credits end with a shot of KiKi Layne from some security footage. But then you see a cursor that says delete picture, because now Chiwetel Ejiofor's character is part of it.
That's right.
Yeah, I love this. Actually, this is my second time seeing it from beginning to end. And much like you, I was so impressed with the craft. I just enjoyed the hell out of it the first time I watched it. But this time I really enjoyed it and admired the craft. And I was so happy for Gina Prince-Bythewood. I was so happy for everyone involved. And, you know, much like everyone's saying, I'm looking forward to, although she's not directing the sequel.
I think she's a producer on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's a sister directing it.
Yeah. So she, you know,
she handed it off.
handed it off.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't mad at her.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
That's what you're supposed to do when you get to a certain point. You know,
Look,
she's
man.
moving up. She's moving
Look,
up.
look.
Trying to be Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at her
But-
at all.
but-
But I definitely think it's a black film.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely, I agree. Definitely because of the POV of KiKi Layne's Niles Freeman character, Gina Prince-Bythewood. I don't know. You said it would make it a black film. Gina Prince-Bythewood directing it full
Yes.
stop. I don't know that a black director makes a movie a black film to me.
Okay.
Full stop.
Look, it's the Seraph of the Swanee argument. You know, it's just the old argument, the Seraph of the Swan. That's Zora Neale Hurston's book about all white people. How you gonna say a Zora Neale Hurston book isn't a black book? Because the subject isn't about black. Like it's Zora Neale Hurston. She wrote it, so obviously it's a black book because Zora Neale Hurston wrote it.
Okay.
So,
But that's writing a book, which
Yes.
is a singular vision. Directing a movie is, as much as it is your movie, I don't think that makes it a black film. Now,
so if
Gina,
I teach a Gina Prince-Bythewood class and I do Love and Basketball,
The Woman King,
The Woman King, Beyond the Lights,
yeah, right.
this doesn't fit in that class,
No, because you're talking about the filmography of Gina Prince-Bythewood.
which means it's a black.
No, it means
Class,
that it's a
right?
film that she directed, but I don't think that necessarily makes it a black film. No, this is a black film, so I'm saying that. But if it's a film, how do I want to put it? I just don't think that a black director alone on a film makes it a black that doesn't feature black characters or black story. I don't
So
think
a black woman at the helm, a black woman gets this opportunity, a black woman kind of expands the possibility of what a black creative can do.
I don't think that makes it a
that
black
doesn't-
film.
all right.
I think that makes it a film. You know,
So-
the same way is
So you would say 25th Hour is not a black film?
actually that's been a bit of a reason why I haven't selected it. One, I haven't seen it, so I can't definitively say, but I'm not sure I would call that.
Oh,
a
I'm
black film.
100% going to pick it.
That's fine,
Yeah.
and it probably will because there's a black person in it, so it's a difference.
Yeah, it's no black people in 25th
I
Hour.
like the no. You know what I'm thinking about? What's the?
I mean, Rosario Dawson is...
I'm thinking about somebody. I'm thinking of
Afro.
another movie. I'm thinking about a Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because 25th Hour is directed by Spike Lee, though.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's basically Spike Lee being a hired hand on that because he didn't write it.
He didn't write it, but it looks, and I use that for a specific reason because Spike Lee is a much more stylized director.
Okay.
Like he had, so like when you, like if I didn't tell you that Spike Lee directed it, you would know within 10 minutes.
Because of his directing style.
So even as a tour,
that still doesn't make it a black film.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that he's applying his style onto it.
Oh, yeah, I'm picking that in the next couple of months because that's a good conversation because I think it's more of an argument for that than this.
Okay.
So, all right. But speaking of tradition, immortals, doing things a certain way, your Dracula plan, like you got to get passports. Like you got to figure out how to get a bunch of different passports. You got
a lot of stuff. You got
to get some stuff. Like you got to have a spider hole in case you got to escape. Like I love the fact that when they ran, they had some spots set up.
Of course.
That you didn't escape. Like as we set up our plans, would you recommend The Old Guard?
I would absolutely recommend The Old Guard. If you have watched it yesterday, watch it again. Just watch it again. Great film. I would recommend The Old Guard. And you?
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. It's again, this is I think this is actually a great film.
Absolutely.
I think this is actually a great film.
Absolutely.
And I know it's in July. Do you happen to have an exact date when the sequel comes out?
That's a good question. Let's look it up.
Yeah, the sequel comes out in July. Those of you who are open to graphic novels, it's a great graphic novel. It really is.
July 2nd.
July 2nd. I will be watching it July 2nd.
Victoria Mahoney is the director.
Yeah.
On that film. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing, that is our review. That is our review of The Old Guard. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week, I invite you to follow the Michaud Mission on all the social medias, that whether or not that be, app, Instagram, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Find us at Michaud Mission. You can also follow the Michaud Mission on YouTube, where you can hit the bell and subscribe, tell a friend, find out when we put up our new videos, when we put up our new shorts, edited clips, when we go live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The Michaud Mission is also available as an audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, as well as on Spotify and every place that you find podcasts. You can check us out. The Michaud Mission actually is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which streams every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you want to book yourself in one of the many studios that they have here at Young Junk, you can get in touch with our guy Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at youngjunk.com. All right. Next week here on the Michaud Mission, I am returning with another piece of Afrofuturism for you to watch and listen to us review. It's a sequel. It's the first of our sequels in Octavia April, as we review Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black 2.
Men in Black 2.
Next week here on the Michaud Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.